I'm Terri Schaffner, and Chance French is my son. He was 13 years old when he started the program last September, and he's now 14 years old. He finished the program in May. When we came to the program, he was a very sad little boy and had these huge meltdowns. The longest one lasted for 4 hours. And people used to tell me that he was a spoiled brat and I just needed to whip him into shape. But I knew it was something more than that, because when he got done with his meltdowns, he was very apologetic. He couldn't stop it. There was no reward great enough, no punishment great enough that could get him out of his meltdowns. And our last meltdown was November 26th. I won't forget, because it's amazing not to have them anymore. In school, he had an IEP and had full-time paras. And I remember when he started in middle school, they asked me what was my ultimate goal with his IEP, and I said that he would be able to get along in school without a para, but I never believed that it would ever happen. He never had friends. He was a very lone. He did things a lot alone. He got into his Legos and things like that. He just never played with other kids. That was never anything. Activities in school, he never wanted to do anything special with those. He was really hard to get up in the morning. It was a huge struggle to get the kid up in the morning. He was very defiant, and he just didn't want to do anything we wanted done, and he just always had a negative attitude about everything. He never saw himself doing anything when he grew up. That was not something he could picture. You know, when you ask him, what do you want to be when you grow up? I don't know. And I honestly had the biggest fear that he would never leave the home, because he couldn't cope on his own. He couldn't do simple tasks like pop popcorn in the microwave without having to be prompted on how to do it. And I just was afraid that was what was going to happen. Since Brain Balance, he is this happy, joyful child that smiles and giggles all the time. I showed a picture of him and his back to school picture to a friend, and she hadn't seen him in a couple years, and the first thing she said when she looked at the picture was, "Oh my gosh, Terri, he's smiling. I don't think I ever saw him smile." And that's huge. For somebody to pick that out of just a picture was really big. He's now starting to talk about going to college. Now he's making plans to go to KU. While he's at high school, he's a freshman now. So it worked out very well that he started the program when he did. So when he started high school, he doesn't have an IEP. So there's no paras. He gets along in school. He has friends. He's been active. A couple of his classes did a food booth at the tractor pull over Labor Day weekend, and he volunteered to work in the food booth. And some of his friends are in band. He's not, but they had a car wash to raise money for the band, and he helped out. He's like, "Mom, can I go spend the day helping out?" And that's not something Chance would have ever done before. Never. He's helpful around the house too. What can I do? And when I ask him, take the trash out, or his dad says you need to go mow the lawn, it's not, "Oh, I don't want to do it." He gets up and he does it. Getting up in the morning is not a chore. He has his alarm set. Most of the time he hears Lexi, his sister, in the shower, and he kind of wakes up to that. But he's up, he gets in the shower, he gets down, he has his breakfast. I don't ever have to say, "Come on, you got to get out the door." He's out the door at 7 o'clock to catch the bus for school. One of the big things that happened for Chance is I could never leave him alone. I couldn't trust him in the house. I always had to hire a sitter, or as Lexi got older, if I was gone for just short periods of time, she would kind of watch over him to make sure he didn't get into trouble. I can leave the kid alone. He can be trusted to be left at home alone, and he's not going to get into stuff. He went to a youth trip this summer to Georgia, and it was really hard because I didn't think he would ever do that. And when he wanted to do it, I said, well, you need to prove to me you can do it. You need to be able to go on this little retreat at church and prove that you can do it. So he did the retreat, and then I talked with the youth director and one of his helpers and said, do you think Chance can handle going to Cove Crest this summer? And he said, I don't have any problem with it. I think he'll do just fine. And he did. He was gone for a week. And I was married in April, and a lot of the family had not seen him in almost a year, and some of them over a year. And when they saw him, they couldn't believe the change in him. To the point that one of my brother and his wife decided to have Chance come to their house for a week this summer, which has never happened. Never. I mean, it's just, it's amazing.
That's amazing. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's great.
And Chance used to be on 5 different medications for his behaviors. He's now not on any medications at all. He used to have difficulty sleeping, and I know a lot of it had to do with the medications. And now, most nights before 9 o'clock, he's like, I need to go to bed, I'm tired. Lexi and he are, I think, closer because she can trust him now to do things, you know, and I did get married in April, and so at the beginning, Chance was real resistant to Stan, the thought of another man in the house, because he'd been the man of the house for 3 years, and he, this summer, realized, you know, this guy really is a good guy, and he actually started calling him Dad. You know, he refers to him as his dad now, and he had a conversation with a friend at school who was upset at her dad, and she said how she didn't like her dad, and he said, you know, well, I've got 3 dads. And she said, 3 dads? And he said, yeah, I've got my biological dad that I know nothing about and never met before, and I've got my adoptive dad who has nothing to do with me, and now I have a new dad that's absolutely great. It's the best decision you can make in your life. It was for us, and I know I've said it before. Again, the cost really kind of set me off to begin with, but if I would have known then what I know now, I'd spent 2 or 3 times as much to get this program. It's so worth it. It's been such a change in his life as well as our lives, the family's life.